the next generation of women tech leaders. To take the session forward, please join me as I welcome Sheenam Ohrie, Managing Director, Broadridge Financial Solutions. A huge round of applause, please, for Ms. Sheenam Ohrie.
Good morning. Am I audible? Excellent. In the world of technology, it's very important to check whether technology works or not. All right. What I'm going to talk today is not something that you have never heard earlier, but I just want to bring it into perspective. We have had two very fabulous sessions before this. So really understanding what is it from a very small change perspectives that we can do to enable women for technology. For the people who manage that poll, I would have loved to see a training option and an enablement option in that poll, which would have said, okay, enable me more, invest in me more, and I would have been the first person to choose that. I think it's really important for us to figure out how we really make women more successful. Do we have women in the tech world? Yes, we have women in the tech world, but they are junior women. There is a distinct lack of role models that we even today have in organizations. Right? You saw brilliant 5 women here, but how many more can you think of? Right? Maybe 20, maybe 25. And if you look at it from the other gender perspective, there are immense number of role models. And like it or not, human beings, right? Human beings have the tendency to be really, really affinity driven. So we want to see people like us. Men look up to men, women look up to women, right? And creating, therefore, those role models is something that each one of us needs to do from really making things happen. That's really the need of the hour. The need of the hour is to figure out what we need to do to ensure women have successful tech careers, women continue to stay in tech careers, and women make that happen. Last year, out of all the hiring that we did in our organization, we hired 48% women. And you would have said, you know, your diversity numbers would have hit the roof. Unfortunately, they didn't. Because when I did the analysis at the end of the year, we lost more women than we lost men. Right? And there are still reasons like childcare, there are still reasons like family care, there are still reasons like, you know, relocating after marriage. So what is it that the organizations need to do to ensure that that talent base stays with us? What is it that the organizations need to understand as to why it is important for that talent base to stay with us? Really empowering the future, really understanding that women bring very different talent quotient to the table is important. Right? We heard from Priyanka in the morning where she talked about, you know, how an e-commerce site, if it was designed by women, would be very different. Indeed, it would have been, right? Now, if you are able to build in today's day and age product managers, and she referred to the same thing, okay, that are women that have by genetic more empathy, okay, by genetic more more art, and are able to therefore convert STEM into STEAM. That is what today's technology needs are. Okay, everybody talks about Gen AI, everybody talks about AI, everybody talks about how technology is changing us. But at the heart of everything, even today, if you have to use a technology like Copilot or something that is similar to Copilot, you have to have a human being, okay, managing that technology. Copilot is efficient only when I send in the right commands and thinking about what could be those right questions, what could be those right prompts. I think today is something that we can leverage the female mind very, very well. So making women happen in technology is a huge business imperative as we go forward in the way we are doing technology. One space that today, even today, is deficient from a woman technology perspective is strong, deep technology prowess. If you look around, and I'm challenging you in the last 10 years, any architect award, how many women did you see in the nomination list? Forget they won it. How many women did you see in the nomination list? If that number is more than 5 to 10%, I'll rest my case. We as organizations need to focus on this. We need to focus on building very deep technology prowess. And that is the reason why I said in that survey, if we had enablement, technology enablement for women, that is what is going to change what we do. Diversity is not about going and hiring more women in the HR area or in the finance area. Diversity is about hiring more women where it matters. When you are doing your design, when you are doing your solution architecture, when you are doing your enterprise architecture for the solutions and platforms that you are building, not for today but for the future, you need that representation. And therefore, as an organization, what are you doing to really build that? That's important. We heard about mentoring. We heard about shamelessly taking help. But do organizations have programs to do that? Do organizations have programs that build role models? And if you don't have build models, go out and enable male allies to be role models to help women and mentor them, upskill them to get and create the right talent. To me, mentoring is something that is very, very critical when it comes to building the future talent. As organizations, if you don't have a program that supports women, that enables women from a technology perspective, from a leadership perspective, this is not going to happen. It's really important for us to figure that out. In the space that we are in today, and we heard again from the last panel that yesterday it was something else, day before yesterday it was something else, today it is Gen AI, okay, tomorrow it is going to be something else, right? How do you unlearn? When I started coding, okay, and people are going to laugh about it, the release cycle used to be 18 months, right? Today nobody wants to wait for 18 days. Like a 2-week sprint sometimes appears long. When 10 years back, when Workday was making news, Workday was talking about a release every day. They didn't have a one-day sprint cycle, obviously, but they were talking about impacting customers every day on a daily basis. Therefore, it's very important that we enable our women to unlearn. We enable our women with the right things and the right platforms to teach. When they come back from a break, how are we managing them? When they are on a break, what are we doing to enable them? Or we're just letting them forget about technology, we're letting them forget about work. It's really important for us to start thinking about what we do as continuous upskilling. 1% better every day is very powerful. Think about it. If you can be 1% better every day, how good you will be at the end of a year. How are you building that culture in your organization? That's critical. The last piece that I'm going to talk about is sponsorship, right? And a lot of people confuse mentorship from sponsorship. Sponsorship is, there are a lot of women who are on tables that matter. As an organization, do you have the fabric in your culture that the men on the table represent the voice of those women who are upcoming talent? Sponsorship is that there is a voice that represents me on a table that I don't belong to, right? And therefore, it's important that you cultivate your women to be more networked. How do you create those opportunities? Pre-COVID, everybody was saying, hey, listen, people go out for drinks, I can't go out for drinks. COVID changed the concept of networking. So I'm going to invite all the women to think about how much do you network. In a week, do you meet a new person? Do you have that target that you will meet one new person? When you do mentorship, are you just seeking advice, or are you saying, enable me and we'll do a win-win situation? Let me do a fellowship with you. Let me build something for you. Let me create something for you. Let me design something for you. I'll do something for you that will help me. And imagine if you do something like that, when that person is a voice on some other table, okay, that person is going to say, I want her. Right? So we have to create policies that do that. This is really my last slide. I would invite you to think about how we can create more role models, how we can create more superhuman beings, okay? How we can generate more happiness in our ecosystem, and how we can take the India mantra to be really a strong economic force, because if women don't work and if women don't contribute to that, then we are not going to reach there. So let's together create a legacy. Thank you, everybody.
Ms. Ohrie, ma'am, thank you so much.